So this is phase 2 of the floating deck, but I think I'm really calling it finished at this point, all but one or two little fine details that I'm going to put on it. So the fine detail I'm going to deal with, the first one is I'm going to put lead caps to each one of these tops. So onto there, onto all 5 of them. And that's just to stop the rain getting down there, because the wood is pretty robust anyway, and it is a larch, so it's pretty robust with the weather, and it shouldn't cause it any problems. Long term, that is. Obviously long term it'll rot, but for the next 20 years or so that should be good. I've put scaffold boards on top, as I said I would. I had to get some 10 footers, which we've done now. I'm really happy with it. And that took, what did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 11 scaffold boards, because remember I've also done underneath the deck itself to give it that look, which is a lot nicer to finish it like that. So it's looking good. So that's that phase. As I said, phase 2, but who knows? Who knows what might change on it? But I'm quite happy at the moment. Now that is very robust indeed, this deck, and it will take a lot of weight. It's pretty good. It's solid. And what I said it would do is it would give us the option to pull out to this section here, to look out to it and look out all the way around, which we can now do. Look around. So once this border starts growing, don't forget it's in the long border. Once the border starts growing, it will really encapsulate it. And things are just about to kick off, albeit, but the cold weather we got coming, things should start getting away now. And some of the things are already starting to sprout. There's a Phyllictrum Ellen down there, and it's already sprouting. Purple little leaves started already, so that's going to look good. So, yeah, so that's that phase done. I spent all yesterday on that, and I did some quite clever cutting. And the bits, as you can imagine, like this section here, cracked away, but we've dealt with that by screwing in from the side and correcting that, because I knew that was going to happen on some of them, because these boards are second-hand, they're not brand new. So they had lots of cracks and stuff in them, but they're still fairly tough boards. What are they, about 1.5 inches thick? I think that's about 1.5 inches, maybe an inch. And so they're solid as they can be. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing on this section is, at the moment I'm toying with putting these tiles here, and I've got loads of these, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually dig them into the level of the brickwork, and we're going to sit them down there to the brickwork, and come all the way across to the French doors to make like an oblong kind of look. So it looks really oldie-worldy, and then we'll finish it off with something like, it won't be this York stone because it's not big enough, but a piece of York stone to get in and out to lift the level. And that should look good. Since I last spoke to you all, I've come across these, managed to get hold of these and secure these. These are old, well, they're cow feeders. And I know from the person that told me who created these used to be twice the size of this. These have been cut in half and made to look more like sheep troughs than anything, and they've got a wooden back. So when I do finally plant out, I'm going to have to line the back of that. But that's just another job that we've got coming. So let's take a little wander through here. We'll go into the cloister pergola, look at it from here, and as you can see, it does look really good. I'm really chuffed with that. It's been a bit of hard work on this one. As I said last week, I did a lot of huffing and puffing and messing about to get it right, but we finally got there. And as I said last week, it was raining and it was hailstone and windy, very, very cold. And yesterday was a complete contrast, really. And I was on my own yesterday when I did all the rest. Easy with 2 people, but sometimes you've got to go alone when you can't get the help. So it's relatively easy to put the boarding on yourself. And I've put them down with some good quality decking screws. So they're pretty good. Now you may have noticed around the top, this pipe. I've used 32mm, I think it's 32mm, it might be 38, I don't know. I think it's 32mm, and it's copper pipe, and it's copper water pipe that you would use in a house. Now, I've recently been working in a house where we've removed that, where the plumbers removed all the piping, and I've rescued it. And I had enough to do, enough left rather, to do this. And it looks really good. Now, that is not there to sit on or to lean against. That is there as a visual barrier, just to stop you walking off the end of it. Now, I didn't want it completely covered in here. There's no danger of anyone walking off, but that visual barrier there will stop people. And obviously people are not stupid enough to sit on that. Hopefully they're not stupid enough to sit on that. But I didn't want to enclose it completely, because half the point of this is that we view it from inside the French doors, and we wanted plants to grow up. Now, so these are some of the plants that I've shown you before, the eupatorium that's going to be in there. And they're quite tall plants. And then there's another phyllictrum there, which is another tall plant. That one's about 7 foot it'll make eventually, the paler coloured one. That will get up to about 7 foot. And then we've got grasses in front, other different types of plant, late season perennials really. I'm going to put some early season perennials in as well, just to mix it up a little, because I don't want to have to be waiting until late summer before we get a real nice show on this. But I won't anyway, because the leaves will be up and the miscanthus will be out, and there'll be other things going on, and the Cal Forster, the Calamagrostis Cal Forster will have taken over as well at that point, hopefully, and things should be going well. As you know, I've got this bit to start now and to finish, and hopefully in the next few months this will be completed as well. But I can't rush this as fast as I'd like to, because there's a lot of work on this. I've got all the bricks and tiles that I need, which are called quarry tiles. I've got as many as I need really to complete this as well, and I'll have a go at that. I don't know what sort of shape I'm going to do yet, but my initial ideas, and as we all know they could change, is that I'll have a skinny path running up there. We'll bring the borders into the path so it forces you through, so you feel enclosed when you walk through. And then I'm looking and toying with redeveloping all this area into a square in front of the deck. So we would pull it down here, go across and back up there, and we'll drop all that. That's got to be dropped about, well, the equivalent of what you can see through there. We've got to drop it as low as that all the way along that back. Just how I'm going to do that at this time, I don't know. I do have another cow drinker that I could mimic and bring through to this side and make it be the front. And I may do that, just as I'm thinking this, I may do that. I don't know. Again, I'll give that some thought. There's lots of ways I can do it. I could use old railway sleepers, or I could even create a little brick wall. But I don't think I'm going to go to that extreme, because you can sometimes over-egg the flour, as they say, or cake, or whatever you want to say. I don't know what they say. I'm not a bloody baker. But anyway, so yeah, it's looking good. Now, these round rings that you can see, I'm surprised nobody's ever made a comment about these. These are not staying there. They're simply on there because I needed to know where they were. They are actually going to form, and they have done up the garden. They're forming sections where I can put plants that tend to flop a little bit, and to stop them. So they're a plant support, or they're going to be. And again, I shall be using the copper, as I've shown you, to actually sit those in. So that's a better look now. Now, I know I talked about putting this very mesh all the way around the deck, but I've been looking at it, mulling it over in my head, scratching my head, thinking about it, sat at that window, and I finally came to the conclusion that actually it doesn't need it. It really doesn't need it. Now, for those who've watched a lot of my videos, you may have noticed there's a bit of a change here. I've taken out that courted area, so the pampas grass. The pampas grass is now over there. You can see it's over at the back there. It's a lot better place for it, because that pampas was put in here before this cloister pergola turned into this monster. So I was quite happy with it at that point, and it would have been okay for the next 2 years, I think. But then over time, once this pergola starts getting clothed in all the climbers and becomes a shady area, it probably wouldn't like it as much. So I've dealt with it now, moved it, lifted it, and I've actually got half the plant in the greenhouse ready to split into fresh plants. So I'll give myself some more stock of that. And I'm intending at this time to maybe put some around the deck here, because it would look quite nice. Time will tell on that. So yeah, there you go. The floating deck. I almost changed its name to the Huckleberry Finn deck, because I've got sort of visions in my head of Huckleberry Finn sitting on the edge of that with his fishing rod and fishing, although there's no pond, but you know, in your mind that's what you could think. And I thought that would be quite a good name, but I think for the moment we'll call it the floating deck and not the Huckleberry Finn deck, because that would be daft. Or would it? Who knows? So yeah, as I said before, we clothed it with a board around it. I'm just going over again, but I wanted to show you underneath. Now, nothing's going to grow under there, as you can see. That won't be a problem. I'm not bothered about that. I'll leave it as it is. I might rake it from time to time under there, try and get more of the stones out. There's no point really. I might as well leave it as it is. But what will happen is that all the vegetation, all the plants will grow over time around it. So you're not really going to see it much. The only way that I could do any good really to permanently clothe it would be to put something like the David eye on the back wall there. The viburnum David eye would look pretty good in front of there, and would kind of, well, hide it, disguise it. But I don't think it's a problem. I think it's okay. I think sometimes we can over egg it again. We can do too much to it when there's really, really no need. Because once spring comes, as I said, all these plants are going to be growing and they'll be away. I mean, there's an astrantia here that's already starting to do its thing. And I've several of those ones around. So, yeah. So that's what it looks like. That's where I'm at. And like I say, I think I'm pretty much there. I'm quite happy with it. I like it. I have a disabled daughter, as I've said before, so I needed to make sure that this was solid for her. Didn't want it to collapse on me, and it won't. It's a very sturdy structure. And it'll be fine. Absolutely fine. So there we go. I don't think there's any more I want to say about it at the minute, but I will give you an update as and when I do more around it, more than on it, because everything's finished now really, apart from them lead cappings, and that's all in good time. I'm trying to get hold of some second-hand stuff, because lead is very, very expensive on a roll, and I'd rather try and find bits and bobs if I can, but we'll see. Time will tell on that one. Right. Okay, so there you go. The floating deck, pretty much done. 99.9% finished and looking pretty good. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Ta-da.